Hello my friends and welcome to my March TBR. I'm going to say off the bat, my March TBR is going to be huge. I'm not going to get to all the books, but I'm excited to share what I all want to read, and we're going to go through my TBR cards and pick out some extra books. I already have like an embarrassingly large stack of books here without getting into the cards. I'm going to do some shuffling while we talk here though. So there are a couple books I have to read in March. There are a number of books that I want to read. I plan on participating in middle grade March, at least quite loosely. I have a bunch of middle grade books I'd like to read, so hopefully this will give me the motivation to do so. These books have been on my TBR for a long time. I added more cards to my massive TBR stack here. I got my patrons and YouTube members to give me some more book recommendations, so those are in here and almost impossible to shuffle, let me just say. I added some other prompts, some reading challenges. I'm involved in just overall a huge stack of cards here to help me pick out some random books. We'll just shuffle that more as we go. Let's start with the fact that the March Read Your Bookshelf challenge prompt is to read a book with a weapon on the cover. Since I've been reading a lot of fantasy and mystery suspense, it's not surprising that this was not hard to do at all. I found a book that was on my stack that I need to share in a book haul, which will be my next video, and that is The Star Blessed by Angie Dickinson. This book is coming out March 17th. Oh wow, that works out so perfectly. Enclave sent it to me for being part of their street team the last term, and I loved Angie Dickinson's Truth Cursed. I just recently recommended that in my Christian fantasy video. This says 3 legendary races of power, 2 royal bloodlines, 1 deadly curse. Sounds interesting. The kingdom of Stellarius is slowly dying. A season of poison infects the air, earth, and water, with increasing deadliness each year, and a deep love of gold and power infects the failing mind of the king. His only daughter, and first in line to the throne, Princess Seren, lives in tightly controlled isolation. When she is suddenly thrust into royal society, she struggles to hide the strain of untamed magic awakening in her blood. It is a reimagining and reinventing of 2 fairy tales, Rumpelstiltskin and Catskin by the Brothers Grimm. I need to make sure I read those because I'm doing fairy tales for my DIY literature degree this year. We've got a map, which you can't really see. I'm going to read the first paragraph, I think. Chapter 1 is called Her Highness Disappoints. Seren. When my father put his mind to something, it would be done. Banishing his newborn daughter to a dusty corner of the castle, then caving to general curiosity 19 years later and demanding her public reappearance, these were decisions made over breakfast on a Tuesday and never opposed. His command to abruptly end my seclusion was as unyielding as his resolution to expose vulnerable island ports to our mainland's pestilence or execute the kitchen staff over paranoid suspicions. Whatever the decree, it would be done. That sounds interesting, and I just really trust her writing, so I'm very excited about it. The other have-to-read book that I will be reading is the Indie Book Club book for March, and we will be reading The Night of Shadows by Marcus Bittner. This is book 1 in the Secrets of Silence, and I've mentioned before, I beta read this book a few years ago now. I can't remember when he actually published it, and published in 2024. But I don't know what he kept from what I beta read and what has changed. So this will be very interesting to read. It said Jacob woke up running. It didn't take long for memories from the past few hours to flood back. His sister's latest disappearance, the foreign soldiers in the woods, his surge of magic that rivaled the greatest Ceranthium legends. All he wanted to do was become a librarian. But between his illegal connection to magic and the phantom voice in his head, his life had never been as simple as that. Now, as he searches for his lost sister through enchanting woods and morbid wastelands, it's not enough to fight his curses anymore. And let's see what the first... Okay, I always skip the prologue for the first paragraph because usually that's like a flashback or a flash forward or something. So chapter 1, first paragraph. Your sister will die again, the voice said. She will fall to the same powers that killed... And then it's cut off. So we will be reading this, and then I will be talking about it in my Instagram stories the last Wednesday of the month. I have been highlighting those stories so they are saved if you want to go back and watch some previous ones. But that is March's Indie Book Club. I do have a video sharing all the books that we will be doing for the Indie Book Club. Excited to read another one. And then my last have to read is for my Christian nonfiction in-person book club. And it was my book that was picked this month. It's What It Means to Be Protestant by Gavin Ortland. I had this on a TBR a while ago and I never got to it. And I have actually just decided in the last couple of weeks, what has been working really well for me is to read a nonfiction, one chapter of a nonfiction in the morning after I read my Bible and stuff, and then try to read a chapter in the evening. The evening chapter does not always happen or happen fully. I'm the kind of person that when I'm tired, I just fall asleep these days, not like when I was in high school. But if I can be reading like even 1.5 chapters of a nonfiction each day, that's great. So I'm going to be reading What It Means to Be Protestant. This will be my morning read because then it will definitely happen. This has 11 chapters, so that should work out well. In this one, Gavin Ortland draws from his scholarly work in church history and his personal experience to offer a powerful defense of the Protestant tradition. Yeah, so that's really what this is. And I think it will be really good because I've had a lot of dealings with Catholics lately and I don't really know a whole lot about Catholicism. So hopefully learning about what it means to be Protestant will help with that. And then in that same nonfiction vein, I decided to pick up 2 others, one for the evening and then one for when I finish the others. Not sure which one of these will be my evening one or what, but I really want to read Habits for a Sacred Home by Jennifer Pepito. Stumbling all over my words right now. 9 practices from history to anchor and restore modern families. I really enjoy Jennifer Pepito. Wow. Although I did not really love Mothering by the Book, to be honest. I used to work with her quite a bit in the homeschool world when I was more involved in creating homeschool things online. So this one says, change the world by changing your home one habit at a time. And so in a world as chaotic as it is right now, it can feel downright difficult to be raising kids. What are the chapter titles? Habits of work, stewardship, prayer, order, simplicity, stability, hospitality, community, and balance. And with each of these, she has a woman. So like Habit of Prayer is Amy Carmichael, Habits of Order is Elizabeth Elliot, Habits of Simplicity is Sabina Wurmbrand. I don't quite know how that's all going to work together, but definitely interested in checking this out, reading it. Been meaning to read it for a while. And then I want to read The Crucified Life by A.W. Tozer. I have his 3-in-1 Essential Tozer collection. And I read The Pursuit of God a couple years ago, The Purpose of Man last year, and now I've got The Crucified Life left. It says, the crucified life will lead you to the cross so you can be raised to new life in Christ. I've got the foundation of the crucified life, the dynamics, the perils, and the blessings. So this one has 17 chapters, and I think the Habits of a Household was like 10. So in theory, I could finish all 3 of those nonfiction in March. I would like to. Try not to be too optimistic, but I'd like to. And then I'm just going to quickly tell you the middle grade that I would really like to read in March. First of all, Max in the House of Spies. This is the group read for middle grade March, and I just barely bought this in January. It's going to be in my book haul for, what month are we in now? February. Coming up in my next video, so that's kind of cool. I bought it for my kids because we are studying World War II, and I honestly, though, when I bought it, I thought it was gonna be a graphic novel. I think it was just the cover of it made me think so. I don't really know why I thought so. It's not a graphic novel. Does it even have pictures in it? It doesn't even have pictures in it. Max doesn't want to be sent to London. He's never left Berlin. He barely speaks English. He doesn't want to live with strangers. Oh, so but he's Jewish, I think. He's hatching a plan to get back to Berlin. It merely involves accomplishing the impossible, convincing the British to make him a spy. So this is the first book in a duology. I didn't even realize that. Bought it for my kids for school. So let's see the first chapter of this, or the first paragraph. Once there was a boy who had 2 immortal creatures living on his shoulders. I gotta read one more paragraph. This was the 4th most interesting thing about him. Okay. This is by Adam Gidwitz. I have no idea. Very curious about it. Then for the Black, Indigenous, person of color, I chose Blended by Sharon M. Draper. She is the one that wrote a book that I read that I'm totally blanking on the title of. Out of My Mind. Oh, and she also wrote Stella by Starlight. This one has to do with a girl whose father is Black and mother is white. And her parents are divorced. So, yeah, I don't know. Wow, that font is huge. I haven't read a middle grade book in a little while. What does the first paragraph say? Plunk. That's it. Next up, one of the prompts is to read a book with a person's name in the title. And I have Sophia's War. This is set in 1776 and the Revolutionary War. And she becomes a spy. Okay, apparently I'm just like getting a few spy books. What does the first paragraph say? In the momentous year of 1776, on the 22nd of September, my mother and I were rushing back to the city of New York. New York was where I was born and where I had lived peacefully until just a few weeks before, when we had fled in fear for our lives. The war for our country's independence had come to our door. This is by Avi, who I can't remember if I've actually read anything by, but have heard excellent things about. And then the last one, this doesn't actually fulfill... Oh wait, is this siblings? Oh, it has siblings. That was one of the other prompts, right? We've got Beneath the Swirling Sky. This is the first book in the Restorationists series by Carolyn... Yeah, I'm not going to try to say her last name because I would probably just butcher it. So this has to do with art and fantasy. A house full of artwork, a long-hidden family secret, and a boy with a powerful gift, if only he can learn to embrace it. Vincent wants absolutely nothing to do with art, except his little sister Lily has just disappeared into one of the world's most famous paintings, and Vincent discovers he is one of the last of the Restorationists, a secret society with the power to travel through paintings, and a duty to protect art from evil forces. Leaving art behind is no longer an option. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It's like I've heard this done with books before, and I've kind of heard this idea with like picture books for kids, but as a middle grade novel, I think will be interesting. Oh, this is a long first paragraph. Vincent should have been spending spring break at the beach, or Knott's Berry Farm, or at least having a video game marathon with his friends. Instead, he was staring out the back seat window at the endless Texas countryside rolling by. He let his eyes unfocus, and the field, cows, and clumps of short trees blurred like an impressionist painting. But painting, or rather not painting, was what had gotten him into this mess. Mum thought she was being subtle about it, but Vincent knew the only reason she and Dad had booked a cruise out of Galveston instead of Los Angeles, where they lived, was her secret plan to reconnect him with art. Mum wanted Vincent and his sister Lily to meet her Uncle Leo, who was some kind of art restorer. Yeah, so I have books 2 and 3 in the series as well, so definitely want to start that. And now it is time to start pulling from the cards. Those were all the books that are like on my have to read and really high on my want to read list. And then we are going to pull up some random-ish books here. We'll see what's in it with the cards here today. I'm kind of making a disaster here trying to shuffle these. Wow. Undo. So I have my tiny stack that tells me where or what I'm drawing from my big stack. So the first one here just says, pick the 5th card. And honestly, if I don't like the 5th card, I'm gonna go to the next fifth card and choose between them. Okay, let's do this so you can see that I'm not cheating, although it's hard to grab them. There we go. 1, yeah, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is number 5. It's pink, which maybe means a series or an arc. I can't remember. Above the circle of the earth. So that is an arc. I have the ebook version from Enclave. Let me pull up the description. This is a science fiction book by E. Stephen Burnett. The fight for the space mission begins in his home world. Brock Rivers never wanted to be a repairman on Mars. Years ago, he failed to protect his family, and now he labors across a frontier planet to keep his children alive and escape cause. It's all capital, so it obviously stands for something. But the spacefaring humanist is taking over Martian colonies, forcing all to join the secular state. Okay, this is actually really good because I have been wanting to read more Christian science fiction, and I own the ARC for this, so I will read that one. That's easy enough. The cards that I had already pulled off, I'll just put them on top. Back on there. I'll grab my Kobo so we can read the first paragraph of this. Oh, this is one of the ones where my font was massive. Definitely need to fix that. I didn't know what I was doing when I was first adding all the books onto here. That is for sure. I've flipped like 20 pages and I'm not even on chapter 1 yet. Oh my goodness. This is so bad. That's on me. Okay, chapter 1 is Brock. 437 LMST, Hall 17. I don't really know what all this is. Okay. Crimson light flared in the darkness, beating with the emergency tone that pulsed in Brock's head. He drew himself out of the warmth, facing quadrupled flashes that silently cried out, "Emergency, emergency." Dim hovering text summarized the call for help. A new dome in Xanth Terra was leaking air, 1% in the last hour. Cause unknown. Ooh, so we got some like Martian issues there. Yeah, I was just looking at buying this book. Still kind of on my book buying ban here, but I think it's on sale on Amazon in the States. I would buy it if it didn't also cost a ton of shipping to send here, but even with the shipping and the currency conversion, it's still cheaper to buy it that way than it is to buy it in Canada. Enclave hardcovers are like $45, $42 in Canada. It's hard to justify. Okay, let's pick the next card. Maybe, why am I struggling with the card so much? Okay, draw until you hit a specific book. So this needs to be an ARC or a Patreon or member recommendation. So let's see here. That just means it has to have color on the back. I guess it could also be a series one. Oh, we've got pink. Was that what this was? Oh, okay, we've got another ARC here. Oh, Gelato at the Villa. Okay, very different vein, but I've been meaning to read this book for a while. I will also pull that up on here. This is the second book in the Suitcase Sisters series by Robin Jones Gunn. I really enjoyed the first book. We just follow friends that go to Kenya, and this one we've got a different set of friends who are going to Italy. Grace and Claire have formed a close friendship over their love of reading. Oh, this is perfect. After many years and many books that provided armchair adventures, the time has come for them to go somewhere instead of dreaming of someday. Traveling to Venice, Florence, and Bellagio, the Suitcase Sisters find themselves immersed in the magnificent works of art, scrumptious gelato flavors, and endless pasta variations of Italy. Yeah, okay. Definitely my food tastes are very Italian. I love carbs. So prologue, we skip the prologue. We find chapter 1. Even though Claire and I spent months researching, planning, and organizing every detail for our trip to Italy, from the moment we arrived in Venice, I wondered if we'd made a big mistake. Ooh, that's okay. Interesting. Hopefully not. Is going to Italy ever a mistake? I've never been, so I wouldn't know, but I hope not. Okay, let's pull out another card. Draw from the bottom. So whatever this bottom one is. There we go. Oh, something from my 2026 Classics TBR. Okay, I need to get my reading journal because when faced with a prompt like this, I instantly forget everything that's on that list. I do have a whole video that shares all the books. Okay, Classics TBR is this one. Okay, I have options. What am I in the mood for? Okay, I think I'm gonna pull another one off that will correspond with my daughter's Victorian Gothic, Victorian literature class, Victorian Gothic, whatever. I think the only other one of the ones that's on her list that I want to read is Edgar Allan Poe. So I have classic works of horror here. It's a bunch of short stories and poems. And I don't know if I will read all of them. Some of them I have read before, and she's only reading a few of them, but definitely work on this. Probably finish it, honestly. So it has 5 poems and maybe like 15 short stories. Let me see, really short because it's a small book. 300 pages, I guess. So I'll add some Edgar Allan Poe to the month. Okay, next draw card says, draw from the bottom again. What is the last one here? Oh, my 2026 reread TBR. Okay, well, good thing I have my reading journal here. These are the books that I think I will need help motivating myself to reread. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do a middle grade one. I have 2 options. I have 2 options. One of them is in my room, so I'm gonna pull that one out now because I just shared it in my middle grade recommendations video, my last video, and that is Pictures of Hollis Woods. This is a short book by Patricia Riley Giff, and yeah, it's like 170-ish pages. Has to do with foster care. It's hard-hitting, really well written, but I've only read it once, and so it would be great to reread it. Yeah, so we follow Hollis as she goes to a new foster home, which is living with this older woman who is slowly having Alzheimer's or something, and they're trying to hide that from social services. Really enjoyed it when I read it, so it would be good to reread it. Plus it's middle grade, so another middle grade book. Let's do another one. Draw 3 cards, look at them, and pick one. Okay, so we'll draw 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3. What do they say? Once Upon a Broken Heart. That would be continuing this series, which I've decided I actually don't want to continue. So I'm going to pick a different card so we can have 3 to choose from here. A book you didn't get to last year. Okay. Oh, Flavia de Luce. This should have a series color on the back, and it doesn't. Interesting. Oh, neither did Once Upon a Broken Heart. Some of them got through, I think. And 2026 reread TBR. Oh, that's funny. Okay. A book you didn't get to last year. I don't think it's going to be Flavia. I do want to continue that series, but 2026 reread TBR. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do the other reread option that I had, and that's Okay for Now. Another one that was on my middle grade recommendations video because I love it. We follow a boy who is, I think, going into 8th grade, but it takes place over the summer before 8th grade. He has a really rough home life. He goes to a library and falls in love with the James Audubon's Bird Book of America, whatever it's called. I always stumble over the Audubon. What did I even say? I think this is a book that I've only read once, even though I love it and always recommend it. So it would be great to reread it. Okay, let's do one more because I think this is getting quite large. For the month, shuffle and pick from the middle. Okay, we'll just roughly shuffle into okay, pick from the middle. And if I don't like it, I'll pick the next one as well. It has an odd number of pages. Oh, that's like so broad. Okay, I'm going to do the last page of the story has an odd number. I'm gonna go look at my shelf and see what I can find. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little out of my element because the first like 5 I picked out all had an even number of pages, but I found one that has an odd number of pages, and it's These Blue Mountains by Sarah Loden Thomas. So this is Christian historical fiction. I've never read anything by her, and I don't remember what it's about. A moving story of love, betrayal, and the enduring power of hope in the face of darkness. Oh, the back of this book, the font and the way it's written, it's all very blurry, and I don't think it's a printing problem, it's just the font. Let's see if I can read this. German pianist Hedda's world collapsed when her fiancé, Fritz, vanished after being sent to an enemy alien camp in the United States during the Great War. 15 years later, in 1932, Hedda is stunned to see Fritz's name in a photograph of an American memorial for German seamen who died near Asheville, North Carolina. Determined to reclaim his body and bring closure to his ailing mother, Hedda travels to the US. Her quest takes a shocking turn when, rather than Fritz's body, his casket contains the remains of a woman who died under mysterious circumstances. Oh, wow, okay, I do not remember this. That sounds interesting. What's the first paragraph? She's written quite a few books according to the list here. I've never read any of them. Berlin, Germany, November 24th, 1932. Hedda slipped from the frigid air into the warmth of the kitchen and snugged the door shut behind her. She closed the deadbolt, opened it, and closed it again, nearly dropping the newspaper beneath her arm. She reached for the lock a third time, but then lowered her hand. Okay, sounds interesting. It's definitely got like more of a mystery than the cover and the title made it sound. I'm kind of confused. Yeah, so that's a very random stack for the month. It's a lot of variety, but hopefully it will be good. Let me know what you plan on reading in March. Are you participating in Middle Grade March? Are you participating in any other reading challenges for the month? I know often there's like a mystery one. What are you feeling like reading this month? Please let me know. Leave some book suggestions in the comments. I always love chatting with you guys there.